Good morning, just after 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Back today. Miss Erin feeling better, and local news is up next.
This is a national day of mourning. We'll talk more about that throughout the morning. Big plans for Bossier City. Lots of improvements are on the way. And a man threatens to shoot up the VA hospital.
You and I did not get a chance, although we covered it in depth yesterday. The John Kennedy announcement of, nope, ain't running for governor.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to be governor of Louisiana other than, at least, is there any Republican who wants the job?
Well, we'll have the lieutenant governor on this morning. We got to ask him.
Well, wait till you hear what we found out yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Today is a national day of mourning in honor of the passing of George H.W. Bush, the 41st president. LSU political science professor Robert Hogan says it's interesting to note how many federal services are closed today, and adds that it's likely due to a good dose of nostalgia.
The passing of a former president is one that gives a lot of people time to reflect on what things were like during the Bush administration that was very different than the current situation.
The funeral service in D.C. scheduled for 10 o'clock our time. Bossier City approves a massive bond sale. Matt Parker with that.
The Bossier City Council has approved $64 million in bond sales. Officials say the cash will be used to fund road projects, park upgrades, and more. The measure was approved by the council unanimously. The bonds are expected to be sold before the end of the year, and construction on numerous projects could start as soon as 6 months after the sale. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The Caddo School Board looking into options for a possible bond proposal. School system wants money to upgrade school security, buy new buses, and fix air conditioning issues. During the meeting, the board set a schedule for discussing hiring a municipal advisor and to get more information on how much money they could raise without asking for new taxes. A VA employee arrested for threatening to shoot up the hospital. Elbert White Jr. arrested after he threatened to shoot up Overton Brooks. White was an employee at that facility but was fired this week. After being fired, he told a co-worker he was going to commit a mass shooting. White was arrested, and he's been charged with terrorizing. The governor's race took a turn that blindsided many when Senator Kennedy announced he would not challenge Governor Edwards. Republicans now in a scramble to find a candidate with less than a year until the election. Political consultant Roy Fletcher says there's a reason why the GOP didn't have a Plan B candidate.
Call sucking the oxygen out of the room. Kennedy sucked the oxygen out of the room, and then Elvis left the building. The bottom line is, no, they don't have a candidate yet, but they will.
While several names have been discussed, including Congressman Ralph Abraham, Attorney General Jeff Landry, State Treasurer John Schroeder, and Senator Sharon Hewitt of Slidell, Fletcher says they'll all face a similar obstacle getting their name out there to the public. Law enforcement officials warn of a new phishing scam in the area. The scammers are texting victims claiming to be from your bank in an attempt to get vital banking information. Officials say banks and financial institutions will never contact a customer in this fashion. The town of Severance, Colorado has a ban on snowball fights, but not anymore. A 9-year-old boy took his fight to the town board, and members voted unanimously to lift the ban. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
9 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Time for traffic. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got to clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
In an incident last month,
Weather.com presents.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Keel app is a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. How you feeling down there, kid?
I'm kind of hacky. Kind of
Go to
hacky.
the doctor? No.
No, but I'm on a lot of meds and
Wait a minute. What?
Well,
you buy your meds underground?
No, I got them over the counter, and they're it's all coming up now.
But basically, you're getting them from some dealer out of the trunk of a Buick.
No, that's not it.
Oh my God,
that's not it.
That's exactly what it is.
You know, it all just. In fact, I need a spit cup, Matt. I need to go get a spit cup.
No,
borrow Matt's hat.
Oh,
you need to go home.
I'm working on that too.
What do you think about the Kennedy thing? What were your first thoughts? Everybody, were you as surprised as was I? Because everybody in the world assumed that he was in we had Mike Johnson yesterday. Mm-hmm. I'm close to the senator. I'm close to John. I was as surprised as anybody. That's what he said.
Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with, I don't know if it was MSNBC. One of them named Kennedy their darling. You know, their darling.
That's interesting.
I think that had a lot to do with it.
You have no idea. We had Moon Griffon on yesterday, and basically that was the opening question. Wait till you hear what he says about what you just touched on. Because the first question was, Mr. Moon, Kennedy says he's not running. Were you surprised?
To be honest with you, yes and no. Yes, because I really thought he was going to walk in the governor's place. I'll be honest with you. There was nobody.
Pardon me. You thought he was you think if John Kennedy ran, he's a done deal, a lock, 100% sure?
I think he walked in the thing by 10 points, and Everson and know it too because they're spinning things. But here's I got a call privately about 6 weeks ago, and it was a guy that I got a lot of respect for. There's a lot of connections in Washington. And he told me, he said, don't be surprised if Kennedy doesn't run. I said, well, the word is I got he's running. And he said, well, here's the problem. And this is where I think we go back to it, is that the Republicans in Washington, D.C., put John on these good committees. You know, you saw him, you get the one-liners, he's all over the news, he was on that Judiciary Committee. And they wanted him to stay. They put pressure. I think overall they won by making him stay. Now, I got that 6 weeks ago, and then I watched it happen. But there were some other things that you got to remember. If John would have won, he would have appointed a senator. He would have had 3 more years on his Senate seat going into 2020. So let's say he appointed you, Robert, the United States Senator. You had to turn around and run that fall. Well, that fall is the presidential race, I'm sorry. Bill Cassidy's already on the ballot to run for Senate again. They got to defend that seat. And they would have to defend Kennedy's old seat that you're sitting in. So you got a situation to where they got to come with double the money to protect 2 Senate seats at one time. So it's a bigger thing than us in the fact that the pressure came from Washington. I believe John was running. John told everybody he was running. Found out a while back, even up to a few days ago, that he wanted to run. But I really think the pressure came from the federal boys and the Republican Party. And by the way, this is going to be a federal election, and the fact that it's one of only 3 governors' race, but it's the race they want to flip. And so you're looking at a $30 or $35 million race with a lot of money coming from outside. So that's what I think happened. I think you got to go through the shot when we really get down to it in a week or 2. This is Christmas. We'll go through it. There will be some named people getting this race. There's going to be more than 2 or 3 Republicans get in the race. The difference is, will they run against Bel Air with real record, or will they beat each other up? And if they beat each other up, Edwards can be reelected, but it's the only way that I think can be reelected.
Do you think that two-part question? Do you think the Kennedy decision was made really, really, really recently? And as a result, if it's the surprise to everybody in politics that you and I think it is, do you think that Jeff Landry may rethink?
Well, 2 things. I do think he made it, and I do think he made it recently. I really believe that. Now, John's always told us, always, the first of the year to announce, he would announce toward the end of the year. And you can get mad at him, but the fact is, he's always said, I'm going to announce what I want to announce, and I'm not going to announce to the end of the year. So people get mad at that. But the fact is, he did. And I'm not defending him because I'm disappointed like you or other people are too. I'm disappointed because he kind of sucked the air out of the room for a while. Number 2, Jeff Landry is going to run for Attorney General. I just tell you this. I talked to him. I won't get into all the conversation, but I think Jeff's going to hold still. I think Jeff feels like it. Remember back in August? You're a news guy. You don't remember this. Jeff came out and said Kennedy needs to decide if he's running or not and get out the way. Remember that? I think you remember the news headlines? Jeff Landry did that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Robert, I think that was the moment that Jeff said, if you get out the way, I'll run. Kennedy didn't get out the way. So I think what you're going to find with Jeff is Jeff's going to run for his position again. Jeff knows that he can win his position. I think he feels like he can win the governor's position, but he feels like 3 or 4 months went by that he could have really built the momentum. And so, but I don't know. Jeff is like everybody else. He's an elected official, politician, and those guys change them like they change their underwear.
Mr. Moon, do you have a sense that maybe that the reason that Kennedy didn't run or that Mr. Jeff didn't run is because John Bell might be a little more formidable opponent than anybody gives him credit for?
Absolutely not. I think he is so beatable, it's not even funny. People know he got in as a fluke. Don't read the headlines of the news. I know you're a news guy, so you have to. But if you read the news, the news people in this state have been behind Bel Edwards before he got elected. And they can dang sure they tell people how great the economy is and all this other stuff. I think he's as vulnerable as he ever was. The thing that worried people was that they want a name guy. We all want a name guy so we know we're going to win. But think back. Bel Edwards is a fluke. Darden and the Orange Ale popped. Buddy Romer ran. Buddy was kind of flukish because Buddy never really won. Buddy had 33, 34% of the vote, and Edwards just said, I'm not running in re-election. And Buddy won, and he beat the next time. Governor Blanco was somebody that was the freakish deal when she was Mike Foster. He was at 3% in July, a no-name. Nobody even knew Mike Foster. And Mike Foster was at 3% in July when he went and became governor.
So what happens now? Republicans searching for a candidate. Who do you think? And is it going to be somebody? Who is known well enough statewide to fill the Kennedy or Landry shoes?
Well, he said it'd have to be somebody. If you're looking for a name person, Scalise would be the person I would think of. And everybody goes, well, man, he said he ain't running. Well, John Kennedy, we thought he was running. So I'm not saying him. I'm saying that there are people out there who will be patient, that are going to look at this. People that have money, people that can raise money. If we'll be patient, there's going to be some other candidates pop up. Now, I'll agree with you on this. If you don't have nobody pop up and the only ones running is responding, then we're going to have a Republican against the Democrats straight up. A guy with no record and a guy with a record. So do I think Bill Evans can win? Yes. But do I think he's going to win? I still think he gets beat.
So give me some names. Who do you?
Everything wants to do. We are 11 months away. In politics, 11 days is a lot.
So
11 months away.
Names.
A lot of things can happen in 11 months.
You know this better than anybody. Throw some names at me. Who would you like to see go?
I'll be honest with you. The few names that I've heard are people with regional names only so far. John Schroeder wants to look at it. He just won treasurer. But he's not a household name, and he ran at a time when you had an off-year election. I like Schroeder. I think he's doing a heck of a job. But he's not a big name, so I don't have any names right now. I'm waiting just like you all, but I'm also willing to be a little bit more patient. People will start looking at this race in next July, August. I'm talking about the voters. So somebody that's going to get in, they need to get in as soon as they can so they can start building up their name record.
Moon Griffon.
Mr. Eddie Risponi said he's going to spend $5 million of his own money. Lane Grigsby, who support him, has a pact with $5 million. That's a lot of money for a man that nobody knows yet.
Moon Griffon's heard every weekday here on KEEL 9 till 11 today, no exception. In about 30 seconds, what you got on 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got to clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL traffic up. No time for sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. North Webster alum Devin White was named this year's Dick Butkus Award winner, recognizing the top linebacker in college football. White is the first LSU Tiger to win the award. He finished the year with 115 total tackles, the second most in the SEC and the most among the four finalists for the award. He is LSU's first national award winner since 2013 when Odell Beckham Jr. won the Paul Hornung Award. Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year, Jazz Ferguson, has decided to forego his final season of eligibility at Northwestern State and make himself available for the NFL Draft. The LSU transfer set Demon records with 1,117 yards receiving and 13 touchdown catches in 2018. His 66 grabs ranked second all-time in NSU's single-season history. His older brother, Louisiana Tech senior standout Jalen Ferguson, is a finalist for the Ted Hendricks Award, honoring the top defensive end in college football. Speaking of Louisiana Tech, the Bulldog basketball team earned an 82-66 win at home over Prairie View. Daquan Bracey led Tech with 22 points. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
I don't know if this was something you had in the news already, if this was something that I just heard as a soundbite that will be in news later. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright, and Erin McCarty. But it was the guy talking about George H.W. Bush and no new taxes and why he lost the election in 92. And he's just totally wrong. He's just 100%. Do you have the soundbite?
Let me look.
You had the story and the soundbite, and the guy is 100. I'm not going to say 100%. His interpretation of events is totally revisionist and at least partially incorrect. Where he's talking about the no new taxes thing, and that's what doomed Bush.
Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Hang on a minute. No, it's going to take too long to find it.
Read the story at least.
I don't know. I don't have the right one. I don't have the right. It's not edited. Like, I made it all up in my brain.
Did you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Recall what you read as best you can.
It's a national day of mourning. Obviously, today is the funeral for President Bush.
Right.
Political science professor Robert Hogan from
Robert
LSU.
Hogan is he's 100%. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Where's he from?
He's from, I just said, LSU Baton Rouge.
Okay, sorry.
He says it's interesting to note how many federal services are closed today. He says it's likely due to a good dose of nostalgia.
Then he launches into this hit. Then he launches into this hit on Bush and why he lost the election, and the guy's totally wrong.
He says most analysts agree that Bush Sr.'s famed congeniality and bipartisanship is what cost him a second term. After his famous Superdome "Read My Lips, No New Taxes" speech, Bush ultimately did raise taxes marginally. Hogan says this was a turning point in American politics, as many Republicans abandoned Bush afterwards.
You know what is totally left out of that?
What?
2 words. Ross Perot. Ross Perot had 19%.
Oh, exactly.
Ross Perot cost George Bush the election.
Yeah.
But
say
would
that people have voted for Ross Perot if he hadn't had the Read My Lips? I even saw his son, George, say that cost him the election.
You know what's left out of that is the across the aisle backing of NAFTA and all those which have come to be disastrous for America. And look at, if you need more evidence of that, look how all the establishment Republicans and almost all the Democrats have embraced NAFTA and attacked Trump for trying to do away with it. If the Democrats want it, you know it's bad for America.
Right.
On a national level. What? No. Perot had, if you remember, in 1992, Clinton had 43%, a mere 43% of the vote. Bush had 37%, and Ross Perot had 19%.
Absolutely.
And through the years, George H.W. Bush, who lost that election because of Ross Perot, would admit although he would never say what it was exactly. He said that he lost that election because of Ross Perot, and to be more specific, because it was personal animosity. It was a personal grudge that nobody ever knew why. I certainly don't. I've never read it. Bush never said what it was, but it was Ross Perot's personal animosity toward George H.W. Bush that got him into the election. But if you remember Ross Perot on Larry King with Al Gore, everybody, it's that sucking sound. Remember that long time ago? That sucking sound you hear is Jobs, and that's exactly what happened. And as we've covered on this program 100 times, there is no better example of the damage that those treaties from that era did to any place in the United States more than Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it.
29 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser coming up just after 7 o'clock. Is he in?
Gotta ask him.
Of course we do.
He's got to be at least tinkling with it.
I'm sorry?
What did I just say?
It's time to move on to traffic.
Yeah,
Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got it clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Well, rain back in the forecast here for the Arklatex starting Thursday night and continuing through Friday, and some of the rain Friday could be heavy. Sunshine for the afternoon, though, at 52. Clear tonight, low 32. Sunny tomorrow with mid-50s for highs. Clouds increasing Thursday. Thursday's high in the mid-50s. Richard Wettig at the Weather Channel.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
America honors the late former President George H.W. Bush on this National Day of Mourning. Ellison Barber has the latest from D.C.
His casket will leave here a little later this morning around 10 o'clock. A motorcade will carry the former president to the National Cathedral. President Trump is set to attend the funeral, as is the Prince of Wales and all living former U.S. presidents. Mr. Bush's son, former President George W. Bush, is set to speak after the service at the National Cathedral. The casket of the 41st president will travel to Joint Base Andrews and depart for Houston, Texas. He then lies in repose at St. Martin's Episcopal Cathedral, with the funeral taking place at that church tomorrow. His final resting place will be next to his wife, Barbara, and their daughter, Robin.
The service in D.C. today is at 10 a.m. A VA employee in big trouble today. Elbert White Jr. arrested after he threatened to shoot up Overton Brooks VA Hospital. White was an employee at that facility, but was fired Monday. After he was fired, he told a co-worker he was going to commit a mass shooting. White was arrested and charged with terrorizing. Law enforcement officials warn of a new phishing scam in our area. The scammers are texting you, claiming to be from your bank in an attempt to get vital information. Officials say banks and financial institutions will never contact a customer in this fashion. The Bossier Council's approved $64 million in bond sales. Officials say the cash will be used to fund road projects, park upgrades, and more. The measure was approved by the council unanimously. The bonds expected to be sold before the end of the year, and construction on several projects could begin as soon as 6 months after that sale. Caddo School Board exploring a bond proposal. Matt Parker with that.
The Caddo Parish School Board is looking into options for a possible 2019 bond proposal. The school system wants money to upgrade school security, purchase new buses, and fix air conditioning issues. During Tuesday night's meeting, the board set a schedule for discussing hiring a municipal advisor and to get more information on how much money they could raise without asking for new taxes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The governor's race in a big shakeup now that Senator John Kennedy has announced he will not challenge Governor Edwards. Political consultant Roy Fletcher says all of the possible Republican contenders face a similar obstacle.
There's nobody in that field there that probably has more than 40% name recognition statewide, whereas the governor's is 95, and you can't beat somebody with nobody.
There is one Republican in the race. That's Baton Rouge businessman Eddie Raspone, who's been relatively quiet since announcing his candidacy. Kevin Hart says it's always been a dream of his to host the Oscars. Now that dream's about to come true. The actor-comedian's been named the Master of Ceremonies for the event next year. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty. KEEL app is a free download from Office Furniture Source. Your father was in the Marines.
He was.
This is sort of related to the George Bush passing. Have you seen, by the way, the film? And I didn't know. I knew that he had crashed his plane, that his plane had crashed, and that he was picked up by a Navy submarine, I think, in the Pacific. But I did not know there was film of that rescue. And I
saw it, yeah.
I saw it last night for the first time. I knew the story, but I didn't know there was film on that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow. So your father was in the Marines. He joined the Marines in
1944, I think.
Was it that late?
Yeah, it was late. Well, he was born in 25.
That's right. But see, I forget that your father is like 9 years younger than my dad. He was born in 25.
25, yeah.
Okay, see, my dad was born in 1916.
Mm-hmm.
So he went into the Army Air Corps, I think it was in 40, and got out in late 45. He was one of the first guys out after all the treaties were signed, etc. So he got out in 45.
Mm-hmm.
And your father passed away in
87.
And my dad died in 2010. How many World War, and this is sort of, like I said, connected to the George H.W. Bush passing. How many World War II vets do you think are still living out of how many?
Ooh.
That's the interesting thing. How many remain out of how many?
Oh, out of the total? How many participated?
Would you have any idea how many U.S. service people, men and women, are regarded as World War II veterans?
Not sure, but I would bet there's fewer than 5,000 still living.
Oh, my gosh. You're way low.
Really?
Yeah.
There's still a bunch living? That's a good thing.
Yielding to the inalterable process of age, the men and women who fought and won the great conflict of World War II are now in their late 80s and into their 90s. And unfortunately, they are passing quickly, according to the United States Department of Veteran Affairs statistics. Of the 16 million Americans who served in World War II.
16 million?
16. You and I have talked about that. Yes. You know, when you talk to a kid, I told you about having the talk with Crystal, who is what, 24 or 25?
Mm-hmm.
And she comes from that youthful, sort of premillennial liberal mindset of, I don't know why we used the atom bomb on Japan. That was just heartless and cruel, and it was a slaughter of innocents.
Right.
I said, okay, but let's look at the time. Everybody had a husband or a father or a brother. Or let's be a little more expansive, a husband or a father or a mother or brothers and neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I said everybody had skin in the game.
Oh, everybody.
And if it meant that all the men and some of the women on your block, from your town, from your neighborhood, would get to come home and come home early, what wouldn't you do? What shouldn't the government do to save their lives? And you could tell from the look on her face that it had never occurred to her. I said, that may be why a draft reinstituting mandatory national service wouldn't be the worst idea, because then everybody would have skin in the game. Everybody, America and its interests around the world would matter to everybody.
Right.
If everybody, like in Israel or South Korea or a number of other countries, if you had to do your year or 2 years, suddenly mom or dad or brother or sister or neighbor, the occurrences, the happenings, the conflicts in the world, and the interests of this country might start to matter to you just a bit more. Veterans are passing quickly. According to the United States Department of Veteran Affairs statistics, of the 16 million Americans who served in World War II, 496,777 remain living.
Almost 500,000?
Only 500,000 out of 16 million.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it was that high.
Okay, your dad went into the service late. He entered the Marines.
Right.
He enlisted in the Marines later in the war. He didn't join until 44 and was in the meat grinder, bluntly put, that was the Pacific Theater, and won the Bronze Star for saving his fellow Marines' lives.
Yeah.
But he went in late. He was, 18 or 19 when that happened, right?
Right, right.
If your father were alive today, how old would he be? Born in 25.
25. He
90,
would be
93?
93. Just turned 93, yeah. God.
And he was one of the young ones.
Yeah. He and George W. Bush were like a year apart.
So when you start thinking, when
Bush was shot down, do you realize he was 18, I believe?
Yeah.
18.
Here's my story. Tom Ed Toms, David Tom's grandfather, who was very good friends with my dad, was a tank commander. Look at me. A tank commander in Europe under George Patton at the age of 19.
They're babies.
Yep. Well, not exactly.
Oh, my.
And fewer than 500,000 remain.
Man.
641, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Matt's been awesome lately. I hate to say that.
Oh, boy.
But we will review and he will explain when we get back. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got to clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near the Cross Lake Bridge due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
1, 2, 3. Hey. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Were you waving at me?
No, that was dancing.
I beg your pardon?
That was dancing.
Well, limited because of your debilitating illness.
Now I'm waving. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is going to join us after 7 o'clock. We got to ask him, is he at least thinking about running for governor?
Yeah.
And there's something about a big pot of gumbo he's working on?
No. This for the Independence Bowl.
Yeah, he's working on it.
They are going to.
I think he's helping cook it.
He may.
He is.
It's John Fultz, Louisiana chef, legendary chef John Fultz, who is, I guess, overseeing. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the Guinness World Record for the biggest pot of gumbo as one of the sidelights of this year's Independence Bowl.
Do they need some okra?
I don't know.
Are they going to put okra in it?
I hope not. I'm not having any.
Big question.
When we had Independence Bowl director chairman Trey Giglio on a couple of days ago, and I wrote up the post. I posted the interview, and basically the headline was, "Will Shreveport buy a Duke Temple Independence Bowl?" Because Duke and Temple, oh my God, nobody's going to go to that. Yeah. Well, you know what? Matt wrote a fascinating and interesting and on the money article. I had a talk yesterday with a fellow who is on the board and shall remain nameless.
Okay.
And we were talking about the marketing, what they do, what they don't do, what he sees as the positives of this year's game. And I said, and he agreed, I said, one of the things, and it's you got to maneuver carefully. I said, but at some point, no matter who the teams are, you have to impress upon the Shreveport-Bossier area that it is almost their civic responsibility to support this game. I mean, if you got a couple of Pop Warner teams, at what point is it on the people of this area to make the game a success, no matter who plays?
Right.
Absolutely. Should it really matter? And that was, Parkey, what was the title of your blog, of your post earlier this week?
Should it matter who plays in the Independence Bowl?
This is being praised by a number of local politicians and tourist people and a whole bunch of business people, etc. And he has, in fact, gotten direct notes. Man, that was a great article you wrote. That was a hell of a blog. Read to us. How many words is that, by the way?
I don't know, 1,000.
It's, why don't you sort of highlight it? It's at keelnews.com if you want to take a look. But please, at least the opening paragraph.
Well, just to kind of give a synopsis so we can run through it a little quicker. We got Duke versus Temple to come into town. Neither team is a national powerhouse. They don't have historical significance in the college football universe. This isn't the cream of the crop game, but that shouldn't matter to us. We have this great event in our backyard with local, a statewide sponsor and all these great little side events going on. What do we care who's coming to town? If you look at an example I used of the kind of support we should have for this event was the Nashville Predators. When the NHL announced that a hockey team was coming to a southern city and state, 10, 15 years ago, whenever the Predators came into existence, people around the hockey community in Canada, worldwide, just kind of laughed. That's going to fail. But you know why it didn't fail? The people of Nashville, the community gathered around a sport they didn't understand just because it was theirs. It didn't matter if they were good. There was a lot of crappy years, yet the fans showed up and learned to love it.
You're making me feel bad now because I bought tickets last year because it was USM. My nephew really wanted to go. And so I got an auto-dialed call from the Independence Bowl the other day. And it said something like, hi, this is blah, blah, from the Independence Bowl. We want to know if you want to renew your tickets for this year. Call us back, blah, blah, blah. Gave me some sort of message. And I thought, no, probably not going to renew. But I probably should.
Yeah. Well, if it matters, if you think the game is important to the area, I can
give my tickets to some kid.
If you think that game matters to this area, what responsibility? And like I said, it's from the Independence Bowl's point of view, from the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl's point of view. It's a very touchy marketing concept. but how do you impress upon the community that it has, that we, the people of Shreveport-Bossier, do in fact have a responsibility, no matter the teams, to make the game a success?
Well, just before we hit your money now, the economic impact on a halfway decent year at the Independence Bowl is great for our area. If that thing dies, we're more screwed than we already are.
They say in the range of $10 million.
If you want to gripe, you need to buy some tickets.
649, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Your money now in just a couple of seconds, presented by Barksdale Federal Credit Union. In the meantime, here's your Weather Channel forecast. Kind of sunny today, but chilly again today. High today in the low to middle 50s. Right now, 36 degrees, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL, 650. .652, it's 1017 FM and 710 KEEL Sports Update. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher, North Webster alum. Devin White was named this year's Dick Butkus Award winner, recognizing the top linebacker in college football. White is the first LSU Tiger to win the award. He finished the year with 115 total tackles, the second most in the SEC and the most among the four finalists for the award. He is LSU's first national award winner since 2013, when Odell Beckham Jr. won the Paul Hornung Award. Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year, Jazz Ferguson, has decided to forego his final season of eligibility at Northwestern State and make himself available for the NFL Draft. The LSU transfer set Demon records with 1,117 yards receiving and 13 touchdown catches in 2018. His 66 grabs ranked second all-time in NSU's single-season history. His older brother, Louisiana Tech senior standout Jalen Ferguson, is a finalist for the Ted Hendricks Award, honoring the top defensive end in college football. Speaking of Louisiana Tech, the Bulldog basketball team earned an 82-66 win at home over Prairie View. Daquan Bracey led Tech with 22 points. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Yes, I know. Billy Nungesser at 710. Believe me, he's not in.
He's got to be thinking about it. He's got to be at least thinking about it.
Do you remember when you asked him this before, when Landry was trying to get the governor out of his office?
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Go ahead. What were you finishing?
Basically, Erin was like, well, would you want to be governor? And Billy said, I kind of like doing what I'm doing. It's way more fun.
I think we talk him into it. I think you and I start his campaign for him this morning.
In all seriousness, based on the Kennedy decision to not run, in all seriousness, do you think, and Mike Johnson said yesterday, maybe not, about Jeff Landry reconsidering. Mr. Mike's response was, he's made his decision. It would be my words, not Mike's. It would seem a little weird. You can't do it right now. You got to wait a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. If you're Jeff Landry, see what we took from everybody yesterday. Mike Johnson, Mike was stunned. I mean, Mike said, look, I've been speaking to him about this all along. Me, meaning Mike, when he said it, and everybody just assumed he was in. And then he turned around and, no.
He likes what he's doing.
I don't think.
He's the poster boy for those media outlets.
What Moon said, and it makes a lot of sense. What Moon Griffon said, it makes a lot of sense. That he has gained so much notoriety, positive press, and so much influence in such a short time that all the really big money, nationally inclined Republicans are saying, no, you got to stay where you are because you are an up-and-comer, even though you're the same age as Robert J. Wright.
Right.
656, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
As we get ready to celebrate the start of the Christmas season, we have just been treated to a highly spiritual sermon. On Monday night, the sermon giver spoke of getting rid of hate, division, and violence. In other words, bringing peace on earth. He focused on the right thing to do. He preached about the importance of being clear on moral questions. He advocated basing decisions on values. And he closed with these inspiring words. I believe the most sacred thing that each of us is given is our judgment, our morality, our own innate desire to separate right from wrong. Choosing to set that responsibility aside at a moment of trial is a sin. The preacher, Tim Cook, Apple CEO. He was receiving the Anti-Defamation League's Courage Against Hate Award, very first one they've ever awarded. He wasn't talking about the golden rule or the spirit of the season. He was talking about the sacred duty to kick certain people off of tech platforms, divisive people. Not kicking them off is a sin. This new religion of Mr. Cook's is a real ho-ho-ho. It's Mary, shut up if we don't approve. And there goes all cooperation I've ever had with Apple. Out the window.
Hey guys and girls, don't mind me as I interrupt your radio program. It's Sharon Trobner, neurobrain mapping expert. Do me a favor and don't touch that dial. That's a mistake. If you've been listening to this station, you've probably heard of Limitless, the potent, all-natural brain booster pill. As a brain mapping expert, people constantly ask me if Limitless really works to improve memory and concentration, or is it just another scam? Good news, I can tell you that Limitless really works and is an amazing breakthrough supplement that can make you feel unstoppable. I recommend Limitless to anyone looking for a competitive advantage at the office, school, or play. Just take it, and within 30 minutes, you'll notice a huge boost in memory and an extreme focus that's almost not fair. So call Limitless now and find out how to get a free bottle.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-630-7730. That's 800-630-7730. Free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-630-7730. 800-630-7730.
The intersection of Lakeshore Drive and Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Sunny today, mid-50s. It's 35.
Breaking news and trending talk. KEEL, 710 AM and K269.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, the KEEL app, a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Back today, Miss Erin, a little better, but local news coming up next.
Today is a national day of mourning in honor of the passing of George H.W. Bush. Lots of federal services will be suspended today. We'll talk more about that. Bossier City wants to make some big-time improvements. We'll take a look at that, too. And a VA employee accused of threatening to shoot up the hospital.
Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser in less than 15 minutes talking about some Independence Bowl stuff, other stuff going on around the state. And I know it's a long shot, but you got to ask him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to.
Somebody, some Republican somewhere's got to run for governor. Why not?
You're Republican.
Why not him?
You're the light governor.
Fletcher and sports and traffic and weather, it's all coming up this hour, and it's here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Today is a national day of mourning in honor of the passing of George H.W. Bush, the 41st president who served from 89 to 93. LSU political science professor Robert Hogan says it's interesting to note how many federal services will be closed today. He says ultimately most analysts agree that Bush Sr.'s famed congeniality and bipartisanship is what cost him a second term, though. After his famous Superdome "Read My Lips, No New Taxes" speech, Bush ultimately did raise taxes marginally. Hogan says this was a turning point in American politics, as many Republicans abandoned Bush afterwards.
Compromise is today viewed as a dirty word in a way that it used to not be, but that was really the beginning in the early 1990s of the desire for both sides to not want compromise.
The service today in D.C. is at 10 a.m. our time. Bossier City approves a massive bond sale. The council's approved $64 million in bond sales. Officials say the cash will be used to fund road projects, park upgrades, and much more. Caddo School Board, meantime, looking into options for possible bond proposal. School system wants money to upgrade school security, buy new buses, and fix air conditioning issues. During the Tuesday meeting, the board set a schedule for discussing hiring a municipal advisor and to get more information on how much money they could raise without asking for new taxes. A VA employee is in some big trouble today. We get more from Matt Parker.
Albert White Jr. has been arrested after he threatened to shoot up Overton Brooks VA Hospital. White was an employee at the facility, but was fired on Monday. After being fired, he told a co-worker that he was going to commit a mass shooting. White was arrested and charged with terrorizing. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Law enforcement officials warn of a new phishing scam in the area. The scammers are texting you, claiming to be from your bank in an attempt to get vital banking information. Officials say banks and financial institutions will never contact customers in that fashion. The governor's race is quite scrambled today now that Senator John Kennedy announced he would not be challenging Governor Edwards. Republicans are trying to find a candidate with less than a year until the election. Political consultant Roy Fletcher says Baton Rouge businessman Eddie Rispone, who's in the race, is not well known. Fletcher says if Rispone needed something good to happen for him to start cutting checks, that something is Kennedy's exclusion from the race.
He has been pretty quiet, but I think that in this situation, I'd let my money do the talk. I wouldn't be out there yapping. I'd be out there spending.
So far, no other Democratic challengers have stepped forward to run for governor. A stunt by high school football players during which they were not in uniform may have cost them the state championship. Fox's Tom Rigotti explains.
10 members of the Byron High School football team in northern Illinois were suspended for indecent exposure in an incident last month where they ran naked across a field. School administrators suspended them for 3 games when they determined the players weren't victims of any sort of hazing and did so of their own free will. One of the games they had to sit out was the Class 3A state championship, which Byron lost 24-20 to Monticello High School. Tom Rigotti, Fox News.
You might want to remember this little guy's name. He's Ryan Higa. He's only 7 years old, but he made $22 million last year on YouTube. He does toy reviews online, and he is quite a hit. Forbes names him the highest paid YouTube star. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update. Ruben's here.
We have reports of a minor accident on Colquitt Road near Dean Road, and we're dealing with some slow-moving traffic on Greenwood Road near Hearn Avenue. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
Twelve after 7 o'clock, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Don't forget the Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884.
Governor Billy Nungesser. That sounds kind of good, doesn't it?
Oh, my God. Mr. Billy. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser is here. Mr. Billy, I guess we got to start with something that's been in the news the last few days. That
Kicking off your campaign this morning, are we?
Senator John Kennedy is not going to be running for governor. So Erin is, we got to ask Mr. Billy if he's going to throw his hat in the ring. So let's start there. Is there any possibility that you will be a candidate on the Republican side for governor of Louisiana?
No, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm running for re-election, and mainly because Jimmy Fitzmaurice, a longtime lieutenant governor, endorsed me in the first primary. Not many people did. And he made me promise him two things. No matter who won governor, I wouldn't run against him, and I'd never talk bad about him in public. And he said, Billy, that's the only way you're going to do the job that people elect you to do as lieutenant governor. Every lieutenant governor is looking ahead, and the governor fights with him. And I sat down with the governor 2 weeks after the election and gave him my word. And it's the best decision I ever made because our state parks and museums are in better shape because I have the support of the administration. We're getting things done, and record numbers in tourism all over the state. And it was the best advice I got. And the people elected me to be lieutenant governor, not to look ahead, and I've got to finish the job that y'all elected me to do, and I'm honored to have it. And besides, it's the best job in the world. Promoting Louisiana, I'm blessed every day I wake up.
You know, even as a non-candidate, you are, as lieutenant governor, a Republican of some power and influence. Everybody else we've talked to, all the other powerful, influential Republicans, were, in fact, a little more than a little surprised by the Kennedy decision. Were you?
Yes, but, listen, the governor is not, it's a red state. But by terms of Democrat, Republican, the governor's a conservative Democrat, so it wasn't going to be an easy race for anyone to unseat an incumbent governor. And I'm glad he made the decision because when we elect someone to Congress or Senate, every year they're up there, it's good for Louisiana. 10, 20 years of seniority, we've seen it before. It brings the dollars back to our state. And so I hope our legislators in Washington make that long-term commitment when they run because they can do more good for Louisiana the longer they're up there.
Billy, we're talking to Billy Nungesser, Lieutenant Governor. We announced the teams, obviously, for the Independence Bowl, Temple and Duke. There are some in our community that are saying, this could be sketchy to get butts in the seats. It's important for our region, and you're our top tourism guy, to support this game to keep it in our community, correct?
Absolutely. We not only give tourism dollars, but we are putting seafood money behind it. We've got John Folse coming up. We're going to cook the world's largest pot of gumbo the day of the parade and feed everybody's soul as our new brand goes. We're proud to have finally a multi-year commitment from a great partner, Walk-Ons. We partnered with them when we went over before the LSU game in Dallas, and they've just been a great partner all over Louisiana, and their commitment to the Independence Bowl. No, I think we're going to have a great game. We are doing all we can to market and promote it here in Louisiana and surrounding states. And, of course, we're hoping they travel with a good fan base to Louisiana. We're sending things to those states, telling them about all the great things to do in Shreveport, what a great celebration we have around Christmas. And hopefully we can fill the stadium and bring a lot of tourists to Shreveport.
You know, Mr. Billy, one of the, interestingly enough, the thing right now that Erin and I hear people with the Independence Bowl just a few weeks away, the one thing I hear people talking about the most is the Guinness World Record for the biggest gumbo pot of all time.
I can't wait.
And John Folse is involved. There's a whole bunch of really important people behind this. When they came to you, what was the genesis of this? Tell us more about this, because I'm telling you, people are talking about this all over Shreveport and Bossier.
Yeah, okra or no okra, that's the question.
No okra is, of course, the way I would go.
I tell you, they're talking about it all over Louisiana. John Folse is such a ambassador for Louisiana, not only his great cooking, but his passion and love for Louisiana. So when they brought the idea to me and said we need some money to make this happen, there was only one answer, and that's yes. Not only does it bring a lot of attention to the great food and to a great event in North Louisiana, but hopefully it'll spread through the culinary world, all over the country and the world, talking about this record that we're going to set in Shreveport, Louisiana, here in 2017. So Great event. We've got to do more things like that. You know, we're talking to the people that started the Essence Festival in New Orleans about doing something in Shreveport to pull from the Dallas area on that slow tourist weekend. And we're looking at other events that we can sponsor on a statewide level to bring to North Louisiana. Our tourist trip to China was a great success. The great-granddaughter of General Chennault was with us, and we've got 30 writers from China coming here, and they're going to be dispatched all over Louisiana to write about all the great things to see all over Louisiana, and that will do great for us with the Chinese visitors. So a lot of good things going on. Staycation is really working. Louisianans from the south are going to North Louisiana, seeing things they haven't seen before, and the people in the north are coming south. And we couldn't be prouder of our tourism team all over Louisiana.
We've got the Polar Express here, KCS, lots of other Christmas things going on. Folks can see all kind of holiday stuff, too, right now.
You know what's incredible is from I went and turned on the lights in Natchitoches, and then just this last week I turned on the lights at the Roosevelt Hotel. That celebration has been going on for over 124 years. And when I walked through the lobby at the Fairmont, there were people there from France, Germany, and when we went to Natchitoches, there were people from 11 states I met in Natchitoches for turning those lights. So with holiday lights across North Louisiana and all the great traditions, we are attracting people that are coming to Louisiana to see family members, but they're coming here and picking to reunite with their families in Louisiana because around Christmas we have something all over Louisiana to enjoy.
Well, Mr. Billy, if there's one man I can think off the top of my head who I would definitely want to hang out at the Sazerac bar with, it would be you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. It's a great time of year, and with all the great things in Louisiana, you can't help but get in the Christmas spirit. So we're excited, and we're looking forward to the Dick Clark dropping of the Fleur de Lis. Will be national TV again this year, Dick Clark Productions. When New Year's Eve, when they drop that ball in New York, all eyes will be on Louisiana as we start the party for the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
Thank you so much, Billy, and Merry Christmas to you.
God bless you. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thanks.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Ruben's here, traffic update.
The intersection at Lakeshore Drive and Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Let's take a look at sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher, North Webster alum. Devin White was named this year's Dick Butkus Award winner, recognizing the top linebacker in college football. White is the first LSU Tiger to win the award. He finished the year with 115 total tackles, the second most in the SEC and the most among the 4 finalists for the award. He is LSU's first national award winner since 2013, when Odell Beckham Jr. won the Paul Hornung Award. Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year, Jazz Ferguson, has decided to forego his final season of eligibility at Northwestern State and make himself available for the NFL Draft. The LSU transfer set Demon records with 1,117 yards receiving and 13 touchdown catches in 2018. His 66 grabs ranked second all-time in NSU's single-season history. His older brother, Louisiana Tech senior standout Jalen Ferguson, is a finalist for the Ted Hendricks Award, honoring the top defensive end in college football. Speaking of Louisiana Tech, the Bulldog basketball team earned an 82-66 win at home over Prairie View. Daquan Bracey led Tech with 22 points. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.117 FM and 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Do you ever read stuff, because I do this all the time in my friends, like they'll text me stuff, and I'll just kind of glance at it and not read everything. And then I'll ask a question which was in the specific, like it'll be something that they had texted me. I just won't have read it because I read it so fast. Mm-hmm. So my question is, do you ever look at stuff like texts or emails and read it so quickly that you get it wrong? But not completely wrong, like you were close, but just wrong enough to be stupid.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
All the time.
So we've got a guy that works for Clear Channel. We've got a guy that works for Town Square Media, and he's, what's Kurt Johnson's?
He's vice president of programming.
I mean, you can't get higher than Kurt Johnson.
Yeah, he's up there.
In the radio division.
Yeah.
So I look down this morning, and I see an email from Kurt Johnson.
Uh-oh.
And I'm thinking, wait a second. I mean, we get along well with Kurt when he comes to town. We have our meetings. Everything goes fine. We go out and have a couple of drinks. We hang out. He's a wonderful guy. And everything's copacetic, to use the 1920s slang term. So I look down this morning and I see Kurt Johnson reply to me. Kurt Johnson reply ASAP. And I open it and I read it. And I'm thinking, hold on a second. Then I realize that it's not an email from Kurt Johnson, Vice President of Radio Programming for Town Square Media. It's Cootie Johnson, K-U-T-I.
I saw that too, yeah.
Johnson. Dear Mr. Wright, I am Cootie Johnson, and I am looking for a reliable and trustworthy investor.
Oh, man.
I am Cootie Johnson, and I am looking for a reliable and trustworthy investor who can receive, invest, and manage the sum of $75 million.
Oh, my goodness.
USD.
Wow.
If you are interested, please reply for more details.
Did you reply?
Not yet. You think I should?
You should, yeah.
Really? What do you think I should say?
But I would love to help. Let me know what I can do.
It's a work email. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. Just blow up our whole system.
So you really that's my concern. You know more about this. I'm talking to Matt now. You know way more about this than I do. If there is anything suspicious or goofy or nutty or that just strikes me as a bit odd, I just delete. My inclination would be to delete this. But if I respond, what's the worst that could happen?
That he sends you something in return, but as long as you don't open any links or download anything out of the email, yeah, you're pretty much safe.
So he can just reply to him?
I mean, hypothetically speaking, yes, you could reply to him and all will be well. But if he sends you a link or something to download, anything
that could be like
don't open it, you ultramaroon.
It'd be like a ransomware or something like that.
Trojan, all kinds of stuff.
Don't do it. Yeah.
But send him an email back saying,
yes, I'd love to help.
I'd love to make $75 million.
Yeah, what do I need to do?
I'm your guy.
I got good news for you, by the way. For tomorrow morning, we're going to have tied to one of these chairs in the 8 o'clock hour, Bill Joyce.
Seriously?
In studio, ready to riff.
You pulled it off.
He's coming in.
I am not unimpressed.
I am excited.
That's not bad.
29
past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. I got an email to write. Dear
Cootie,
not Kurt. How about I send an email to Kurt saying I want $75 million?
Oh, let's see what happens. Yeah.
Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Lakeshore Drive and Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Swan Lake Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
America honors the late former President George H.W. Bush on this National Day of Mourning. Ellison Barber has the latest from D.C.
His casket will leave here a little later this morning around 10 o'clock. A motorcade will carry the former president to the National Cathedral. President Trump is set to attend the funeral, as is the Prince of Wales and all living former U.S. presidents. Mr. Bush's son, former President George W. Bush, is set to speak after the service at the National Cathedral. The casket of the 41st president will travel to Joint Base Andrews and depart for Houston, Texas. He then lies in repose at St. Martin's Episcopal Cathedral, with the funeral taking place at that church tomorrow. His final resting place will be next to his wife, Barbara, and their daughter, Robin.
The service in D.C. today is at 10 a.m. A VA employee in big trouble today. Elbert White Jr. arrested after he threatened to shoot up Overton Brooks VA Hospital. White was an employee at that facility, but was fired Monday. After he was fired, he told a co-worker he was going to commit a mass shooting. White was arrested and charged with terrorizing. Law enforcement officials warn of a new phishing scam in our area. The scammers are texting you, claiming to be from your bank in an attempt to get vital information. Officials say banks and financial institutions will never contact a customer in this fashion. The Bossier Council's approved $64 million in bond sales. Officials say the cash will be used to fund road projects, park upgrades, and more. The measure was approved by the council unanimously. The bonds expected to be sold before the end of the year, and construction on several projects could begin as soon as 6 months after that sale. Caddo School Board exploring a bond proposal. Matt Parker with that.
The Caddo Parish School Board is looking into options for a possible 2019 bond proposal. The school system wants money to upgrade school security, purchase new buses, and fix air conditioning issues. During Tuesday night's meeting, the board set a schedule for discussing hiring a municipal advisor and to get more information on how much money they could raise without asking for new taxes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The governor's race in a big shakeup now that Senator John Kennedy has announced he will not challenge Governor Edwards. Political consultant Roy Fletcher says all of the possible Republican contenders face a similar obstacle.
There's nobody in that field there that probably has more than 40% name recognition statewide, whereas the governor's is 95, and you can't beat somebody with nobody.
There is one Republican in the race. That's Baton Rouge businessman Eddie Raspone, who's been relatively quiet since announcing his candidacy. Kevin Hart says it's always been a dream of his to host the Oscars. Now that dream's about to come true. The actor-comedian's been named the Master of Ceremonies for the event next year. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
You know, it's interesting to me now. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Erin. It's not always you. It's not always me that takes Matt off the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
Matt wrote a post. He put a blog on the KEEL website, keelnews.com, and basically what was the title? It shouldn't matter. Hold on, I've got it right here. The title was, Should It Matter Who Plays in the Independence Bowl? And you got a lot of feedback, a lot of blowback, a lot of comment on that.
Yeah.
And basically the crux, the thrust of your article was, at some point it's on the people of Shreveport-Bossier to make this game a success, no matter who comes here and plays.
Yeah.
That if we want this game to succeed, if we want it to be here, then should it really matter if we end up with a couple of 9-year-old teams, a couple like Pop Warner teams? Should we still put 40,000 people in there? Yeah, maybe we should, because it's a community thing and it deserves our support. From the Shreveport Security Systems text line, 318-392-1884, a pat on Matt's back. The teams in the Independence Bowl should not matter. The key is to get local citizens involved in the game. You have to make the event a local event, have competitions where local people can compete, have a cook-off. What are we doing this year? The world's largest pot of gumbo.
Yeah.
Literally, Guinness Book of World Records.
So cool.
Have competitions where local people can compete, have a cook-off, blah, 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 being the food that get in. And then the cook is recognized during the game. Come up with other competitions like this. They will get the local people involved and then honor them and game to friends and family, etc. Anything on your side on the KEEL Facebook page you'd like to pass along that maybe paints you as a fool?
Matt, keep polishing that turd, you idiot.
Whoa!
That's a real one. Anyone who tries to compare Shreveport and Nashville shouldn't drink that much. I won't spend my money on any teams I don't care about. It's time to put the Independence Bowl out of its misery.
Does that make you mad?
Yeah, it makes... I understand it.
Explain.
I would like them to try to come around.
Explain it. Tell you what, we'll go to break.
Okay.
We'll change the order of the show. When
All right.
we come back, I want you to explain that mindset to me, where it's two teams I don't care about, so I'm not going to go. In fact, it's always two teams I don't care about, so it's okay with me if this game folds, if it just went away. And you know, there's a lot of people who feel that way, who literally would not go unless it were LSU and somebody. And I want you said, I understand that mindset.
I do.
You really do, and you can explain it to me when we get back.
I'll try.
739, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Ruben's here, traffic update.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. I am looking at an article from CBS Sports that Matt just sent me the link. And basically the title is, what is it, Parky? Ranking all the bowls from number 1 to number 39.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not, follow me on this, kids, for everybody that thinks that Duke and Temple sucks. Oh, I'm not going... Don't even read that Facebook one again. And we'll get back to what you understand about negative Shreveporters and Bossier Cityers in just a couple of seconds. CBS Sports ranking the games, not necessarily the bowl or the organization or the accoutrement or the concert that goes along with it or the parade or anything else, but just the matchups and the teams. Number 1, Orange Bowl. Number 2, Cotton Bowl. This is going through like the semifinals, right? Because they've got the Final Four. Number 3, Rose. Number 4, Alamo. Number 5, Vegas. Number 6, First Responder Bowl. Number 7, Dollar General. Number 8, Peach. Number 9, Fiesta, which is LSU in Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10, Armed Forces Bowl. 11, Sugar Bowl, Georgia and Texas. Number 12, Boca Raton Bowl. Number 13, Citrus Bowl. Number 14 out of 39 bowl games, based on the matchup, based on the quality of the game. Number 14 out of 39, Independence Bowl, sponsored by Walk-Ons, Shreveport, Louisiana.
That's good to hear.
Temple versus Duke. When you get to this middle third of the bowl games, there's very little separating any one game from the other, but this matchup gets a boost not only because it should be a close, exciting game, but there's potential for it to get loose and be extremely high scoring. Cutcliffe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Okay, so we were talking about the Independence Bowl and people who go, I don't know, the game isn't a game. And we were making the point, as Matt had posted on the Keel website, keelnews.com, a couple of days ago. Should it really matter? And I was talking to a member of the I-Bowl, one of the committees, one of the boards, I think it was the hospitality yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the tightrope that they walk, because I brought this up. I said, at some point, don't you have to market it as how do you, let me ask you, how do you market a bowl game like this, a huge, maybe the huge community event? How do you market and present it as, to some degree, the responsibility of your population, of your community, to make it work? And I think we do. And that's a hard thing to sell marketing-wise.
Sure.
And a lot of people just go, I don't care. What did the guy say? I don't care about those two teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go. It's stupid. Look, we're like
great football programs.
So many people in this area. It's Groucho Marx. Why would I want to be a member of a club that would have me as a member?
Yeah.
So when you're that guy
Shreveport's biggest problem.
When you're that guy on Facebook talking about you can't polish you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You can only put so much lipstick on the pig, to paraphrase.
Right.
Look in the mirror, dude. You are the community. It's your attitude. Maybe if you bought a ticket, maybe if you went, maybe you'd make a couple of friends.
Right.
And have a good time.
Yes.
So.
Go out and tailgate and enjoy.
But you said.
I understand those feelings.
So explain it to me.
I would like to see this bowl game grow and become one of the games everybody wants to go to and wants to be at. That's not going to happen, though.
What? What do you mean it's not going to? Wait.
It's not going to be the Fiesta Bowl.
No.
If you think it's going to be the Fiesta Bowl or the Citrus Bowl, it's not. We need to own that and realize that.
But there are so many people, and you know what I'm talking about, who unless it's a couple of 9-2 teams, unless it's LSU and somebody, he doesn't give a damn, and they're not going.
Right.
It's okay
right.
if it just dried up and went away. It's more of a burden on the community than it is a boost anyway.
A lot of people think we should try to get a regional team like we did, Southern Miss last year, We've had,
the thing is,
Ole Miss has come.
And Trey Giglio talked about this. In a nutshell, we get who they send us.
You pretty much
There
do.
is an order. There is a pecking order, and we are in, to be kind, in the middle. The point we were making is the point Matt made in his article. Does it matter who plays? Is it the game that should count? And is it what this game brings to the community and the way we banner ourselves to a nationwide audience for 2.5 or 3 hours that should really matter?
Well, I am a diehard football fan. I love to watch football. College football is my favorite. Would I even watch this game on TV if it were on a day when I could watch it? I don't know. But I say that to tell you this. Let's forget about it being a football game. I think Matt's right about that. Forget about it being a football game. Let's think of it as an event that we can show that our community gives a
rip.
And if if you want to do some charity for Christmas, you want to do a good deed for another human being, buy 2 tickets to the game. Give them to someone who's got a sign out. Perhaps they can resell them.
Parky, 30
Perhaps
seconds.
they'll go to the game.
Parky, 30 seconds.
If you want this city to succeed, you have to support the things we have, whether it's the eye bowl, a business, whatever. If you keep going, well, we don't need that around here, eventually there's not going to be anything around here.
Eventually not only will there not be a game, there's not going to be, to quote you, there's not going to be anything around here. 749, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Weather Channel forecast for the day. Guess what? Kind of sunny and chilly once again today. We may not hit middle 50s. Right now, 35 degrees, 750. Your Money Now brought to us by Barksdale Federal Credit Union. .1017 FM, 710 Keel. It's time for sports. Here's Timmy.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher, North Webster alum. Devin White was named this year's Dick Butkus Award winner, recognizing the top linebacker in college football. White is the first LSU Tiger to win the award. He finished the year with 115 total tackles, the second most in the SEC and the most among the 4 finalists for the award. He is LSU's first national award winner since 2013 when Odell Beckham Jr. won the Paul Hornung Award. Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year, Jazz Ferguson, has decided to forego his final season of eligibility at Northwestern State and make himself available for the NFL Draft. The LSU transfer set Demon records with 1,117 yards receiving and 13 touchdown catches in 2018. His 66 grabs ranked second all-time in NSU's single-season history. His older brother, Louisiana Tech senior standout Jalen Ferguson, is a finalist for the Ted Hendricks Award, honoring the top defensive end in college football. Speaking of Louisiana Tech, the Bulldog basketball team earned an 82-66 win at home over Prairie View. Daquan Bracey led Tech with 22 points. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.1017 FM and 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. I told a story yesterday about a woman who works down the hall, whom you know relatively well, Brooke, in our business office.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the story, what was it, like 8:20, right? And you didn't hear it, and I really want you to hear it, so maybe I will tell you that story again in the second half hour of the 8 o'clock hour, because it's basically, it's the kind of story you'll absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the story I told not too long ago, maybe, a year and a half, 2 years, about my friend Trey and his father who had passed away and the ghost of his dad visiting his granddaughters?
Yes.
This is of that, it's kind of like that. And it like I said, it is one of those stories that you will. Won't take a long time. Won't take as long as I took yesterday. I'll just give like the basic scenario, but it's a story that will knock you. It'll make you take a step back.
Oh, cool.
Are you are reading something? Would you care to share?
Yeah, I can share. I have invited both the candidates for mayor. I've been working on getting them both.
One more time.
One more time before the election.
Saturday.
Mayor Tyler has responded that she will call in before Saturday.
Do we know what time?
Has not said. She's been going nonstop. We'll try to squeeze us in. Adrian Perkins says he's sorry. There's no time between here and the election. Watch parties being held, blah, blah, blah. He will not be able to join us.
You okay down there?
I'm going to be okay.
Choked up? Not going to get Adrian. She's very sad about it. I can see it in your eyes. Coming up just after 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'll tell you the story again. It's you believe in angels, don't you?
Yes, of course.
You believe in angels.
Guardian angels, definitely.
Well, somebody you know has a guardian angel, and if she hasn't told you the story, I will.
Ooh.
757, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Hannity.
Waking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So many Americans never become famous. Whatever you do for a living, whatever talent you have, we all have to serve other people in some capacity. I can't imagine anything worse. I've said this many, many times. What it must be like if you don't have a purpose and a job in life and you're not giving back. And I don't care what it is. Listen, if some people have scorned on the left, stay-at-home moms. Let me tell you, staying home, being a mom, full-time, that's a full-time job. Loving your children, raising them right, feeding them well, giving them great life experiences. You're serving a child. I don't think there's anything greater than that. You're influencing who that person, you're shaping that person, helping shape that person into becoming the person they were created to be.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
'Tis the season for more, and that means more shopping online, more booking travel, more using sketchy websites to find the perfect gift, and all of that activity while using your devices. Well, it's likely it could expose more of your personal information, and God forbid that information ends up in the hands of a cyber criminal. Well, you're going to have a much bigger problem on your hands than an online store just running out of the gift that you promised somebody that you love. And they will stop threats to your identity, like someone opening accounts in your names, and Norton Security protects your devices against cyber threats like malware. Now, look, nobody can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor every single transaction at every single business, but you have the very best in LifeLock with Norton Security, the most comprehensive protection for your identity and your devices. Now, just go to lifelock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock. Use the promo code Hannity, and you save 15% off your first year. lifelock.com, 1-800-LifeLock, promo code Hannity.
Still keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on I-49 northbound near Kings Highway due to a minor accident. And we're looking at some heavy backed-up traffic on Benton Road southbound just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. A couple of seconds past 8 o'clock. Erin's back. Sometimes you got to play hurt. Local news is coming up next.
This is a national day of mourning. Lots of federal offices closed today as we remember a former president. We'll talk more about that. Bossier City got lots of improvements coming. We'll have that too. And a VA employee is facing some serious charges.
You are efforting feverishly to track down whom and why.
Local attorney Ron Machota handles a lot of civil service cases for police officers.
Right.
And is often before the Civil Service Board. I want to know what the legal maneuvering and mess will be come Monday morning if we have a new mayor.
In other words,
with regard to Alan Crump.
How would you go about, what are the machinations?
What can and can't do? What kind of legal mess could we be getting in if Perkins does what he says he wants to do,
Gotcha.
etc.
Gotcha.
And it looks like Ron's going to join us. He's mulling it over now.
Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. It's all coming up this hour here on Keel.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Today is a national day of mourning in honor of the passing of George H.W. Bush, the 41st president. LSU political science professor Robert Hogan says it's interesting to note how many federal services are closed today, and adds that it's likely due to a good dose of nostalgia.
The passing of a former president is one that gives a lot of people time to reflect on what things were like during the Bush administration that was very different than the current situation.
The funeral service in D.C. scheduled for 10 o'clock our time. Bossier City approves a massive bond sale. Matt Parker with that.
The Bossier City Council has approved $64 million in bond sales. Officials say the cash will be used to fund road projects, park upgrades, and more. The measure was approved by the council unanimously. The bonds are expected to be sold before the end of the year, and construction on numerous projects could start as soon as 6 months after the sale. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
The Caddo School Board looking into options for a possible bond proposal. School system wants money to upgrade school security, buy new buses, and fix air conditioning issues. During the meeting, the board set a schedule for discussing hiring a municipal advisor and to get more information on how much money they could raise without asking for new taxes. A VA employee arrested for threatening to shoot up the hospital. Elbert White Jr. arrested after he threatened to shoot up Overton Brooks. White was an employee at that facility but was fired this week. After being fired, he told a co-worker he was going to commit a mass shooting. White was arrested, and he's been charged with terrorizing. The governor's race took a turn that blindsided many when Senator Kennedy announced he would not challenge Governor Edwards. Republicans now in a scramble to find a candidate with less than a year until the election. Political consultant Roy Fletcher says there's a reason why the GOP didn't have a Plan B candidate.
Call sucking the oxygen out of the room. Kennedy sucked the oxygen out of the room, and then Elvis left the building. The bottom line is, no, they don't have a candidate yet, but they will.
While several names have been discussed, including Congressman Ralph Abraham, Attorney General Jeff Landry, State Treasurer John Schroeder, and Senator Sharon Hewitt of Slidell, Fletcher says they'll all face a similar obstacle getting their name out there to the public. Law enforcement officials warn of a new phishing scam in the area. The scammers are texting victims claiming to be from your bank in an attempt to get vital banking information. Officials say banks and financial institutions will never contact a customer in this fashion. The town of Severance, Colorado has a ban on snowball fights, but not anymore. 9-year-old boy took his fight to the town board, and members voted unanimously to lift the ban. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The latest traffic for Wednesday. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some heavy backed up traffic on I-49 northbound. It's backed up from Kings Highway past East 70th Street right now. And we're looking at some more backed up traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Don't forget the KEEL app is always a free download and sounds awesome and is presented by Office Furniture Source. Couple of seconds, joining us is local attorney Ron Bichota. Hey, Mr. Ron, welcome back to KEEL. How you doing? Happy holidays.
Same to you. Thank you for having me.
Ron, a lot of people have been talking about the police chief's on medical leave. He was going to retire. Some are saying, can you fire him? Can you demote him? A lot of people with differing opinions. I thought, let me go to a guy who knows the ins and outs of this legal mess. But first, I want you to listen to what Adrian Perkins told us if the first thing he would do if he were elected mayor. You ready?
Sure.
Here he goes.
Call the police chief and ask for his resignation. That's number one.
Okay. He can ask for his resignation. Can he fire him?
No, he would have to do is, as the appointing authority, the mayor at that point, if he's elected, would be the appointing authority. They would have to move to ask the Civil Service Board for a hearing to remove the chief for good cause, and that would be entailing putting evidence on that the chief didn't do things properly, and that would be the cause.
So if theoretically, let's say that Chief Crump were still in the chief's chair, with the endorsement, with the backing of Mayor Tyler. But let's say that Adrian wins the election in a week and he comes in and he wants to change police chiefs. What if Chief Crump's, no, I like this job. I ain't leaving. What's the protocol? What's the process?
Well, the city attorney's office would have to prepare a request to go to the Civil Service Board and outline why they want him removed. Then the Civil Service Board would have to make a determination whether those reasons are sufficient to remove him, and then they would have to have a majority vote to remove him. And then, of course, he can appeal that to district court and the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court.
So literally the chief of police of Shreveport, Louisiana, does not serve at the pleasure of the mayor.
He is civil service. He's protected by civil service, as all policemen and firemen. So he's got that protection. So he's already been certified as the chief. And to remove him, they're going to have to show good cause to remove him.
When you say good cause, what do you mean by that?
Well, that he, that he did things improperly, that he's incompetent, things of that nature.
Okay, Ron, let me ask you another question. Everybody's talking about, does the medical leave part of this change things too? I would think if I were pregnant and on leave, my bosses couldn't fire me. I mean, I could sue them. It would be a huge lawsuit.
Yeah, I think that they can remove him for cause, even though he's on medical leave.
So the same would apply?
Yes.
What do you anticipate happening if Adrian Perkins is elected? Do you anticipate this being a lengthy legal fight?
I think by the time it got to the Civil Service Board and there was a hearing, Chief Crump would already be gone. As far as retiring.
Would he switch from medical leave to retirement, you think?
I do.
Really? What makes you think that?
Well, I think he's ready to move along in his life and devote more time to his church. And I think he's using the medical leave properly. I think he's got a hip problem, and he wants to get that repaired and fixed. And then I think at the end of his medical leave, I think he'll retire.
You've handled a lot of stuff like this before. Can you, off the top of your head, recall a situation where at any level of government, when you had workers, policemen, firemen, et cetera, who were protected by the board, who just literally, no, I'm not going. I'm staying. I like this job. Come get me if you can. Have you ever had a case like that?
Sure. Years ago when Prater was the chief of police, he wanted to remove one of his assistant chiefs, and he petitioned the Civil Service Board, and I represented the assistant chief, and he was successful in removing that assistant chief, and that happened probably, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when Prater was the chief of police.
Talking to Ron Machota, let me switch gears to Ben Raymond for a minute. He's in a position they call substitute chief.
Right.
Does that verbiage change anything with regard to these requirements?
No, not at all. He's not certified, so if a new mayor comes in and they want to appoint someone else as interim chief or substitute chief, they surely can, because he's not certified in that position.
So basically, pardon me, he's not, God, it sounds horrible, he's not really the chief rank-wise or legally, right?
Oh, he's legally the chief right now, but if somebody wants him out, they can surely remove him and place who they want to as interim chief.
Without cause on this one, right?
Yes, because he's not certified.
Okay. There's no plan to get him certified between now and Saturday. I don't get
It's impossible.
Okay. How long does that take?
It could take 6 months to 12 months, but he's not certified, so he can't fulfill that position at this point.
You have your nose in the middle of the police department's rank and file. Do they want a new civil service exam? Do they want candidates from outside the city? What do you hear, Ron?
I think they want somebody from in-house, from what my people tell me, and I believe that the new chief, whomever it'll be, will come from inside the department.
You think Ben Raymond's got a shot at it?
Under
either mayor?
I think Ben Raymond is a fine man, and he's competent, so sure, he's got a shot at it.
Ron Machota, local attorney, deals with a lot of police issues. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
19 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Erin said something during the break a couple of seconds ago, we must pursue.
Oh, boy.
And it has to do, I think it has to do a lot with your dad and your patriotism.
Yeah.
Traffic and weather right now. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some heavy backed up traffic on I-49 northbound. It's backed up from Kings Highway past East 70th Street right now. And we're looking at some more backed up traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
Twenty past 8 o'clock, time for Keel Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher, North Webster alum. Devin White was named this year's Dick Butkus Award winner, recognizing the top linebacker in college football. White is the first LSU Tiger to win the award. He finished the year with 115 total tackles, the second most in the SEC and the most among the four finalists for the award. He is LSU's first national award winner since 2013 when Odell Beckham Jr. won the Paul Hornung Award. Southland Conference Offensive Player of the Year, Jazz Ferguson, has decided to forego his final season of eligibility at Northwestern State and make himself available for the NFL Draft. The LSU transfer set Demon records with 1,117 yards receiving and 13 touchdown catches in 2018. His 66 grabs ranked second all-time in NSU's single-season history. His older brother, Louisiana Tech senior standout Jalen Ferguson, is a finalist for the Ted Hendricks Award, honoring the top defensive end in college football. Speaking of Louisiana Tech, the Bulldog basketball team earned an 82-66 win at home over Prairie View. Daquan Bracey led Tech with 22 points. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. So the George Herbert Walker Bush 41 funeral is today.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something really interesting that when I tell you Matt and I at the same time, in unison, eyebrows crashing into hairlines, and let me tell you, my hairline's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
When you so caught our attention with this, and I think if you think about it, you can explain this in a wonderful way. But what you said was, I want to get home in time to watch. I want to get home in time to watch the George Bush funeral. I love things like that.
I do.
So explain.
That sounds sick. I know.
Then it sounds interesting. And you said, I loved the McCain funeral. I watched that. What did you say? I've watched that 3 or 4 times.
I saved it, and I watch it.
Explain to me why that is. What nerve, what part of your heart, what it touches, and why it has such meaning for you. And explain the meaning.
You hear the people talking about not the politician, not the public servant. You hear the just gut-wrenching talk about the dad, about the granddad.
Gut-wrenching. You make that sound like that's bad.
No, it just chokes me up. Because you don't think of these men in terms of playing catch with their kids, rowing the boat, going fishing, doing stuff dads do. You think that's all they did. And then you hear the heroic stories of the President Bush stories we're going to hear when he was a teenager getting shot down in World War II. And to see the grandeur of this at the National Cathedral with all of our existing presidents in attendance, coming together, maybe not singing Kumbaya, but at least in a show of patriotism for somebody I think was a true hero. George, love him or hate him, his policies, put all that aside. A true patriot. You know what? You may not know about this. He said no autobiography on him while he was alive. Because he said, this is all not about me. Who does that? Who says that kind of thing? I will look for this makes me sound crazy, but I have watched the coffin in the rotunda for many hours over the last few days since I've been home, just watching the people walk by. Some people are allowed to go right up to it. I even saw a man who looked just like Mike Johnson. I texted Congressman Mike Johnson, and I said, are you at the rotunda right now? And he said, no, I'm in Shreveport. Must be my double. But to see these little kids, their moms are holding them, and they're bringing them, and they're looking up. If you've never been in the Capitol, it's something to see. It's majestic. And to see the military guard who are on hand over the casket right now, they're changing duty every 30 minutes mark the clock. And you see all the precision. And these look like babies. These military folks standing duty over that casket look like babies. But you can see the pride in their eyes and in their chest. They're just so proud to be a part of this. This is a proud moment today for our country. It's not a sad moment to me. It's a moment when we can feel proud of the history of our nation, that we stop and pause, and you're not going to get mail today. Get over it. It's a national day of mourning, but it's a proud day for me to watch this and see everything we do to honor a historic man.
Relate that and the feelings you have toward this sort of ceremony and this patriotism that wells within you, and how that relates, you think, to your father.
My father was in Georgia. They're a year apart. My father was in the Pacific as well, fighting at Okinawa. My father earned a Bronze Star, saving other Marines. They're the same guy. You know what I mean? This is a generation. My father never came home and talked about what a hero he was. Never once said a word to me about it.
How did you find out about the details about your father's heroism?
Almost after his death. We knew he had a Bronze Star. We really didn't know what it was for. I did a little research. One of my other brothers did research. We found the letter of commendation talking about what he did. These are men. I mean, at age 18, 19, these were men, brave, strong men, willing to take a bullet between the eyes if they needed to save Matt, who they don't know, to save Robert. They don't know you. They'll never meet you. But they want you to live in a free country. They were willing to take a bullet in the heart if need be.
Because they believed in something bigger, and it was called, it's America and that ideal.
A free democracy. That's what they believed in. And today we see that kind of culminate with the whole pot. It's a gumbo pot of people that will be in that room today. I'm envious of the folks that are going to be in that room today. I would die to be in that room. Just the history alone in that room. You're going to have all the presidents there. You're going to have the current president there.
How many times have you watched the Bob Dole tape?
Oh, I've watched the Bob. I cry. The Bob Dole tape I've watched probably 6 times now.
If you haven't seen it.
I've also watched the tape of them bringing the dog, the service dog, up to the coffin, where a lady walks the dog around the coffin. The dog sits there. They zoom in on C-SPAN and you see the presidential seal on this dog's little jacket. I cry. This dog was a service dog for one of America's greatest men. And now he's gone. His master's gone. And this dog doesn't understand that. But to see them pull Bob Dole up out of his wheelchair, and you can see how frail Senator Bob Dole is, and he gives a salute.
With his left hand because he lost use of his right arm in the war.
Mm-hmm. You see Bob Dole's eyes well up. I'll be crying today. I'm just going to tell you right away. I think highly of President Bush. I think highly of his service to the country, his entire career. I think very highly of that marriage. Was 75 years.
Think highly of that entire generation.
Oh, absolutely.
29 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin has local news up next. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some heavy backed up traffic on I-49 northbound. It's backed up from Kings Highway past East 70th Street right now. And we're looking at some more backed up traffic on I-20 westbound starting at Spring and Market. It's backed up past Benton Road. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettig, the Weather Channel.
Power of information. KEEL News now.
America honors the late former President George H.W. Bush on this National Day of Mourning Ellison Barber has the latest from D.C.
His casket will leave here a little later this morning around 10 o'clock. A motorcade will carry the former president to the National Cathedral. President Trump is set to attend the funeral, as is the Prince of Wales and all living former U.S. presidents. Mr. Bush's son, former President George W. Bush, is set to speak after the service at the National Cathedral. The casket of the 41st president will travel to Joint Base Andrews and depart for Houston, Texas. He then lies in repose at St. Martin's Episcopal Cathedral, with the funeral taking place at that church tomorrow. His final resting place will be next to his wife, Barbara, and their daughter, Robin.
The service in D.C. today is at 10 a.m. A VA employee in big trouble today. Elbert White Jr. arrested after he threatened to shoot up Overton Brooks VA Hospital. White was an employee at that facility, but was fired Monday. After he was fired, he told a co-worker he was going to commit a mass shooting. White was arrested and charged with terrorizing. Law enforcement officials warn of a new phishing scam in our area. The scammers are texting you, claiming to be from your bank in an attempt to get vital information. Officials say banks and financial institutions will never contact a customer in this fashion. The Bossier Council's approved $64 million in bond sales. Officials say the cash will be used to fund road projects, park upgrades, and more. The measure was approved by the council unanimously. The bonds expected to be sold before the end of the year, and construction on several projects could begin as soon as 6 months after that sale. Caddo School Board exploring a bond proposal. Matt Parker with that.
The Caddo Parish School Board is looking into options for a possible 2019 bond proposal. The school system wants money to upgrade school security, purchase new buses, and fix air conditioning issues. During Tuesday night's meeting, the board set a schedule for discussing hiring a municipal advisor and to get more information on how much money they could raise without asking for new taxes. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The governor's race in a big shakeup now that Senator John Kennedy has announced he will not challenge Governor Edwards. Political consultant Roy Fletcher says all of the possible Republican contenders face a similar obstacle.
There's nobody in that field there that probably has more than 40% name recognition statewide, whereas the governor's is 95, and you can't beat somebody with nobody.
There is one Republican in the race. That's Baton Rouge businessman Eddie Raspone, who's been relatively quiet since announcing his candidacy. Kevin Hart says it's always been a dream of his to host the Oscars. Now that dream's about to come true. The actor-comedian's been named the Master of Ceremonies for the event next year. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. You do realize you were awesome that last segment.
Oh, was it?
That
well,
was
thank you.
That was great talking
That's how
about
I feel.
George Herbert Walker Bush and the funerals and McCain and Bob Dole and all of that stuff.
I can't wait to watch it.
I had mentioned, I think it was in the 6 o'clock hour, and you took a wild stab. You weren't even in the same area code with your gas.
Mm-hmm.
There were 16 million. Get a load of this: 16 million people, Americans, who are referred to as World War II vets. 16 million. Think about that. 16 million people are referred to by the United States government as World War II veterans.
Unbelievable.
Most of them now, at least in their 80s, mid to late 80s, some in their 90s. How old would your dad be were he still alive?
93.
And and President Bush was
94.
My dad passed. Well, my dad was older though. He was born in 1916,
Mm-hmm.
so he passed away in 2010. He was 93 when he died. There are about, of that 16 million World War II veterans, about 650,000 remaining, still living.
I didn't realize it was that many.
Does that
still
seem like a
alive.
lot to you?
It does, yeah.
And yet the rate of their passing is it's. I saw a number once. I'm just, the number that pops into my head is like 300 or 400 a day, something like that. I mean, it's an outrageous. But they are elderly at this point, men and women. What Tom Brokaw referred to as the greatest generation.
So true.
I had mentioned also in the 6 o'clock hour, and it was a news story you had. What was the guy's name? And I said, it's revisionist history to a degree, where the guy was talking about, well, you know, the reason that George Herbert Walker Bush, 41, lost to Bill Clinton was because of no new taxes and a couple of other things. And what is totally left out of every discussion, do you have that story in front of you?
I do, yeah.
Go ahead a little bit.
It is Robert Hogan, who's a political science professor at LSU in Baton Rouge. He says, ultimately, most analysts agree that Mr. Bush's famed congeniality and bipartisanship is what cost him a second term.
No.
After his famous Superdome, read my lips, no new taxes speech, Bush ultimately did raise taxes marginally. Hogan says this was a turning point in politics, as many Republicans abandoned Bush afterward.
You know what is totally eliminated, and it's in my mind, that makes it revisionist history, is totally eliminated from the George H.W. Bush story of the 1992 election, is Ross Perot.
Right.
Ross Perot got 19% of the vote. Ross Perot, third-party candidate, took away nearly 20% of the vote, virtually none of which, would have gone to Bill Clinton. The final vote totals percentage-wise in 1992, when Clinton beat Bush, Clinton had only 43% of the vote. Bush, only 37%. Ross Perot had 19% of the vote in that election.
But I saw George W. Bush, the son, say that the reason Ross Perot got 19% was because of the read my lips comment. He said that was what doomed my dad.
More revisionist history. And I saw this, Mikhail Gorbachev, who was the Soviet president, secretary of the Communist Party.
Nice map on his head, by the way.
From 1985 to 1991. This was a quote from Gorbachev talking about his relationship with George H.W. Bush, 41. You ready?
Yeah.
Think about this literally angers me. Gorbachev, here's the quote. He, meaning Bush, he was a real partner in ending the Cold War.
Whoa.
Gorbachev literally is saying,
I helped too.
That Gorbachev is saying, I
spearheaded it.
I was the leader. I was at the vanguard of ending the Cold War. Gorbachev is saying, I was at the front.
I was chiseling the wall myself.
Of destroying the Soviet Empire.
Yeah.
What a load of crap.
Yeah.
Like Gorbachev was in favor of ending the Soviet Empire.
Right.
Of the breaking up. No, what?
Yeah, exactly.
George H.W. Bush, bless his heart.
Great partner.
Worked with me in undoing the Soviet Union. I saw that and I thought,
crazy.
Talk about, pardon me.
That's nutty.
Talk about kissing your own ass. That's just insane.
Yeah.
Thank heavens for Ronald Reagan.
And the problem is people will believe it.
Who worked with me in undoing
Thanks, Ronnie.
The entire communist, etc.
Yeah.
841, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update, here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some backed up traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road. And we have some traffic delays on Old Mooringsport Road northbound. Starting at Highway 71, it's backed up to Pullman Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard Wettigan, the Weather Channel.
Let me see if I still have that. Matt sent it to me yesterday. No, John Kennedy, a statement. 101.7, pardon me, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. No, Kennedy just said, I like it here.
I love being in the U.S. Senate and saying he can best serve Louisiana in his current job.
Yep. Now, what Moon said, and you were surprised. See, you were out yesterday, and you left early on Monday, rather.
Yeah.
And the time you walked out the door was just about the time they released the statement. In fact, it was before the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And who's not surprised by that? Moon told us yesterday. I had Moon on. Griffon. He'll be on at 9. Moon said if he'd have run, it'd been a sure thing. It was a certain win.
Cakewalk to the mansion.
He said it was John Kennedy would 100% practically.
Mm-hmm.
And what Moon said the reason he didn't run was, meaning Kennedy, he said he has become such a player on the national stage so rapidly that the big Republican power people in D.C. put pressure on him, said, no, you're too big a deal, and you're going to get to be a bigger deal. Don't go back to Louisiana. We need you here. And what Mike Johnson said, we'll play Mike's cut here in just a couple of seconds, and what Moon said was, and Moon was is understanding the right word. He said there was a degree, and so did Mike Johnson, a great degree of angst that he really wanted to run for governor, that it was really a difficult decision to not run, and one that Kennedy made literally at the last minute. So we had Mr. Mike Johnson on yesterday, Congressman Mike Johnson, and we talked about this and that and why he was surprised by the Kennedy decision and who he thinks might be on the list of Republican players, And then the obvious question to Congressman Mike Johnson. In fact, I think the way I phrased it was, Governor Mike Johnson got kind of a ring to it. Any possibility you might take a shot?
Look, I just got elected to a top leadership post in the Congress, in the House. I mean, we're effectively now, I think, probably the 10th ranked Republican in the Congress, which is a turbo boost for us in our district. And so I'd just be derelict in my duty if I walked away from that, because we're going to have a great amount of influence over the next couple of years. So, look, I'm in this all in, though. You know, Kelly and I have 4 children under the age of 17. I don't want all my kids leaving Louisiana, as has been the problem for so many of us in recent years. We've got to fix what ails our state government and its system. The solutions are there. But as I said, it'll take a lot of political courage to get it done. We need brains, bravado, and bandwidth. Those 3 boxes have to be checked, and there's just a small handful of people who can check all 3. So I'm in prayer like everybody else is. This is serious business.
Did you hear a no in there? I mean, to you, was that a no?
Yeah.
To me, that was about a 95% no.
Yeah, it was a semi-no.
Parky, was that a no? In your mind, was that a 100% no? Was it a 95?
I give it about 65%. I mean, literally the thing that jumps out of me about that statement
It's
was
the lack of the word no.
Well, that is, me and my wife are all in on this thing. I mean,
So somewhere between, I say it's 95, Parky says it's 65. Earlier this morning, we had Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser on.
Most powerful Republican in the state, I guess, right now.
Well, that was sort of the question.
That could run.
The question is, and we had to ask him first and foremost, Kennedy's out, Landry's out. We'll talk about his possible reconsidering at some point. But you said it's what are the chances, Mr. Billy? Is there any chance you're going to run for governor?
No, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm running for re-election, and mainly because Jimmy Fitzmaurice, a longtime lieutenant governor, endorsed me in the first primary. Not many people did, and he made me promise him two things. No matter who won governor, I wouldn't run against him, and I'd never talk bad about him in public. And he said, Billy, that's the only way you're going to do the job that people elect you to do as lieutenant governor. Every lieutenant governor is looking ahead, and the governor fights with him. And I sat down with the governor 2 weeks after the election and gave him my word. And it's the best decision I ever made because our state parks and museums are in better shape because I have the support of the administration. We're getting things done, and record numbers in tourism all over the state. And it was the best advice I got. And the people elected me to be lieutenant governor, not to look ahead, and I've got to finish the job that y'all elected me to do, and I'm honored to have it. And besides, it's the best job in the world. Promoting Louisiana, I'm blessed every day I wake up.
You know, even as a non-candidate, you are, as lieutenant governor, a Republican of some power and influence. Everybody else we've talked to, all the other powerful, influential Republicans, were in fact a little more than a little surprised by the Kennedy decision. Were you?
Yes, but listen, the governor is not. It's a red state, but by terms of Democrat Republican, the governor's a conservative Democrat, so it wasn't going to be an easy race for anyone to unseat an incumbent governor, and I'm glad he made the decision because when we elect someone to Congress or Senate, every year they're up there, it's good for Louisiana. 10, 20 years of seniority, we've seen it before. It brings the dollars back to our state. And so I hope our legislators in Washington make that long-term commitment when they run because they can do more good for Louisiana the longer they're up there.
You see, we asked Billy Nungesser if he's going to run for governor, and he says, first word, no.
No, happy where he is.
Ask Mike Johnson. Don't get me wrong on this. I'm not being, look, if the Republican Party had 100 or 150 Mike Johnsons, I would be the happiest guy in the world.
Yeah.
I want Mike Johnson to be governor. I want Mike Johnson to be congressman. I want Mike Johnson to be senator. I want Mike Johnson maybe president at some point. That's how much I think of Mike Johnson. But when you say to Mike Johnson, are you going to run for governor? And his first word is, look.
Yeah.
Billy Nungesser's first word was no.
Right.
Jeff Landry, does he get back in?
Ooh. I don't know. That's interesting.
And does it look, everybody says, well, it would look bad. Well, it wouldn't look bad. It would look bad for about an hour until he became the front runner and maybe even become the governor.
Who else is out there? Congressman Abraham, maybe?
Abraham, Sharon Hewitt is one name being tossed. There's a bunch of names being tossed
Schroeder's
around.
even
The
being
point
tossed
is,
around.
there is nobody right now, is there, with a statewide name recognition like there would be were it Kennedy or Landry.
Scalise, but he says no.
Or Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson doesn't have statewide name recognition.
852, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Ruben.
Still looking at some heavy backed up traffic on Old Mooringsport Road. It's backed up from Highway 71 to Pullman Road right now. And we have some traffic delays on Benton Road near Shed Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Ark. Let's text Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWettigan, the Weather Channel.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, 856. Yes'm.
I did not vote early, so I have to vote Saturday.
You haven't voted yet?
No. What? I have to vote on Election Day. Do you know how long that's been?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm worried about the weather, though.
Oh, jeez.
It's looking like Saturday's going to be really
cloudy,
wet.
rainy. Some say 60, some say 80% chance of rain.
Who does that hurt? Or help?
50, I have no idea. It's look, there is nothing, there literally is nothing that could keep me from voting. Nothing short of armed robbery or being a hostage.
Who doesn't vote because of weather? Give me the demographic of the person who won't vote because it's raining.
Idiots. Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Kim Commando.
New parents are having a tough time naming their offspring. For starters, the baby's name has to be freely available on social media. Kim Commando with your Wednesday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by BePrepared.com, the best survival kit to protect your family. BePrepared.com/Kim. When my son was born, I purchased his name as a domain so he'd always have it. That's not good enough anymore, thanks to the rise of social media. Parents are now relying on available Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram handles to name their kids. The reason? Many parents want their kids to have a social media presence before they're born. After birth, Social media might help them in business. The problem? It's not likely these social media sites will be available in 20 years. But they are onto something. The #1 earner on YouTube making videos in 2018 was a 7-year-old boy doing toy reviews. He made $22 million. His name is Ryan. I'm Kim Commando. Dell's dedicated small business advisors give you tech advice and one-on-one partnership to help you grow your business. Now's the time to save on select business PCs with 8th Gen Intel Core processors until the end of the year. Maximize this year's budget and find the right tech solution for your business. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Visit Dell.com/business deals or call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with a Dell Small Business Advisor today.
What's the perfect gift this holiday season? A set of Boll & Branch sheets. Boll & Branch sheets are made from pure organic cotton, making them the softest and most comfortable sheets in the world. Giving a thoughtful gift has never been easier. Right now, Boll & Branch is offering $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping when you use promo code KIM. That's $50 off plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com, spelled BOLL and branch.com, promo code KIM.
Looking right now at some backed up traffic on Texas Avenue near Mansfield Road. And we have some traffic delays on Old Mooringsport Road northbound. Starting at Highway 71, it's backed up to Pullman Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Storm system will approach the Arklatex Thursday night. That'll ramp up the rain chances for us, and that will take us into the weekend. Some of the rain could be heavy Friday and Saturday. Sunshine today, 54. Partly cloudy tonight, low 37. Clouds tomorrow with a shower, 53. Rain on tap for Friday. Friday's high, 50. Richard DeWetting.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.